I must begin with a truth that I cannot stay silent about. As a brain doctor, I've seen many things, tumors, traumas, transformations of the human mind, but this shocked me. A single vitamin, one that millions take every day, could be silently increasing your risk of stroke overnight. You see, we live in a time where people believe more is better, more supplements, more pills, more shortcuts to health. But what if I told you that something marketed as beneficial is actually dangerous? What if I told you that what you swallow in the name of well-being might be silently damaging the most delicate organ in your body, your brain? Many people trust vitamins because they're marketed as natural, safe, and beneficial for everyone. The packaging is clean, the labels use words like essential and daily, and they're sold in places we associate with health. But the truth is far more complicated. Just because something is labeled as a vitamin doesn't mean it's harmless. In fact, this illusion of safety is what makes it so dangerous. People take these supplements without asking questions, without consulting professionals, and without understanding what they're putting into their bodies. They believe that if a little is good, then more must be better. That mindset has led to serious health consequences for many. Some vitamins are fat, soluble, meaning they can accumulate in your body over time rather than being flushed out. Without realizing it, you may be creating toxic levels that disrupt your internal systems. When it comes to brain health, blood flow, and stroke risk, even a slight imbalance in certain nutrients can cause devastating outcomes. The body operates on precision. Every mineral, every vitamin, it must be in harmony. When that harmony is disturbed by blind supplementation, the consequences are often silent until it's too late. The most alarming part is that this danger doesn't come from illegal substances or experimental drugs. It comes from the shelves of your local store, from the bottle you take every morning with breakfast. People think they're doing something right for their body, not knowing they might be inviting harm. This is why awareness is so vital. You cannot afford to play guessing games with your brain or your blood. The very thing you trust to protect you may, in reality, be the silent force breaking you down from within. True health begins not with a pill, but with knowledge, intention, and presence. There is one vitamin in particular that has raised serious concern among neurologists and cardiologists alike. It's commonly found in multivitamins, standalone capsules, and even fortified foods. Most people take it casually, believing it will strengthen their body or boost immunity. But what they don't realize is that, under certain conditions, this vitamin can have a direct impact on blood thickness, clot formation, and blood vessel function. These are all critical factors in determining a person's risk for stroke. When blood becomes too thick or clots too easily, it can lead to blockages in the arteries that supply the brain. That blockage is what causes a stroke, and it can happen suddenly, without any prior warning. The issue becomes even more serious in individuals with underlying health conditions, like high blood pressure, diabetes, or a family history of cardiovascular disease. When this vitamin is taken in high doses or combined with other supplements and medications, it can silently elevate the risk of stroke overnight. The person may feel perfectly fine during the day, go to bed without any symptoms, and wake up with slurred speech, facial drooping, or even full body paralysis, if they wake up at all. This is not meant to cause fear, but to spark awareness. The human body is a delicate system of balances. Something as seemingly harmless as a vitamin, when taken improperly or in excess, can tip the scales in the wrong direction. It's especially dangerous because the effects are often invisible until a major event occurs. That's why even something that appears beneficial needs to be treated with respect. Taking any supplement without medical oversight is a risk, particularly when it comes to brain health. It is not about eliminating vitamins, but about using them with wisdom, precision, and responsibility. The greatest danger doesn't always lie in what we take, it lies in what we don't know. Most people assume that over-the-counter vitamins are completely safe simply because they don't require a prescription. But this assumption leads to carelessness. People begin taking supplements based on advertisements, online trends, or advice from friends without understanding what their body actually needs. They never ask whether their diet already provides enough of that vitamin, whether their lifestyle justifies supplementation, or whether their body might react negatively to it. This lack of awareness turns an act of self-care into an act of self-harm. What makes this even more concerning is that the body rarely gives immediate warning signs. The damage caused by vitamin misuse builds silently, day by day, molecule by molecule. You won't feel your blood getting thicker. You won't notice your vessels tightening, but beneath the surface, your risk of stroke or other neurological damage may be rising. By the time symptoms appear, like sudden numbness, dizziness, or confusion, it's often too late to reverse the damage. This is how a well-intentioned decision becomes a silent threat. It's easy to trust what's sold as natural or healthy, especially when it comes in a small, harmless-looking capsule. But without proper blood tests or medical supervision, taking that capsule is like walking a tightrope in the dark. You cannot know where the tipping point is until you've already crossed it. This is why true health begins with education. Not every body is the same, and not every supplement is necessary. What helps one person might hurt another. Blind consumption is the real enemy. Knowledge, not pills, is what protects you. When you act with awareness, you give your body the respect it deserves, and that respect can be the very thing that saves your life. The body is built on balance. Every system, every function, every organ depends on precise regulation. Health is not about doing more, it's about doing what is right, in the right amount, at the right time. Yet in today's world, people are conditioned to believe that if something is healthy, more of it must be better. This is a dangerous misunderstanding. Even the most beneficial nutrients can become harmful when taken in excess or without proper need. Vitamins are not immune to this truth. What starts as a small habit of taking a daily supplement can quietly turn into an overdose that disrupts the body's natural harmony. In the case of stroke risk, the balance becomes even more delicate. Blood consistency, vessel elasticity, and neurological signaling all rely on subtle chemical levels in the body. When certain vitamins are introduced in high doses, especially fat-soluble ones that accumulate over time, the balance is thrown off. The blood may begin to clot too easily or circulate with increased pressure. The body moves away from its natural rhythm, and this internal shift sets the stage for crisis. You may not feel this imbalance until it manifests as something catastrophic, like a stroke. This is where wisdom comes in. The ancient teachings remind us that doing less with intention is often more powerful than doing more with ignorance. Health is not a race to consume the most nutrients or stack the most supplements. It's a patient, mindful process of maintaining equilibrium. Excess, even in the name of health, is a form of imbalance, and imbalance leads to breakdown. When you understand this, you begin to see that true strength lies not in how much you take, but in how well you understand your body. That is the difference between temporary health and lasting vitality. The brain is the most vital and complex organ in the human body. It controls movement, memory, thought, emotion, and every unconscious function that keeps you alive. Yet it is also one of the most sensitive and fragile systems we possess. Unlike a muscle that can recover with rest or a bone that can heal with time, damage to the brain is often permanent. A single interruption in blood flow, just a few seconds, can cause parts of the brain to die forever. That is the terrifying reality of a stroke. And what makes this even more dangerous is that people often don't realize how easily their daily choices can lead to such a life-altering event. Taking certain vitamins, especially in high doses and without proper medical guidance, can thicken the blood or interfere with medications that regulate circulation. When blood cannot flow freely to the brain, a stroke can happen in an instant. One moment you are speaking, walking, thinking clearly. The next, your brain shuts down vital systems, sometimes with no warning at all. For those who survive, the consequences can be devastating: paralysis, speech loss, cognitive decline, or complete dependence on others. This is not something to treat lightly. The brain does not give second chances. You cannot afford to gamble with something so irreplaceable. It's not just about taking or avoiding a vitamin. It's about understanding that even the smallest decision can have the biggest consequences. People assume danger always feels dramatic or visible, but the truth is, the most dangerous threats often build quietly, and that silence is what makes them so deadly. The brain deserves your highest level of care. It requires respect, awareness, and protection, because once it is harmed, there is no true way back. Prevention is not optional, it is essential. Health has never been about the number of pills you take or the shelves of supplements you collect. It is about how you live, how you breathe, how you move, how aware you are of what enters your body and mind. In the pursuit of wellness, many people chase quick fixes. They believe that a vitamin can solve what years of poor habits have created. But health does not come in a capsule. It comes from conscious choices made every day. Discipline in how you eat, mindfulness in how you think, and consistency in how you care for your body. These are what build true strength. The idea that one supplement can protect you without effort is comforting, but also misleading. It encourages disconnection. It shifts responsibility away from your daily actions to something external. When people begin relying on pills instead of presence, they lose touch with their body's signals. They stop listening. They stop asking, "Do I really need this?" And in that silence, risks grow. A vitamin taken without purpose becomes a hidden threat. Not because the substance itself is evil, but because it was never meant to replace awareness. True health is a relationship, a deep and respectful connection with your own body. It's in the way you hydrate, rest, breathe, and manage stress. It's in how you walk, stretch, and sleep. It's in your attention to balance, both in food and emotion. Supplements can play a role, but only when used wisely, intentionally, and under guidance. Without discipline, even good things can lead to harm. The most powerful medicine is your own awareness. When you live with intention, when you approach your health with humility and presence, you don't just avoid illness, you cultivate vitality, and that cannot be bought or swallowed. It must be lived.